All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Grace Maneri Winefield. I'm a teen librarian here at Skokie Public Library. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And before we begin, we've got an awesome array of panelists here to talk about their college experiences. But I wanted to let you know that this event is co-sponsored by Oakton College, a leading institution of academic excellence with campuses in Skokie and Des Plaines, Illinois. Established in 1969, Oakton has been a cornerstone of educational achievement, offering a wide range of associate's degree programs and non-credit courses designed to empower learners from all walks of life. Since October 2020, Oakton proudly holds the distinction of being recognized as an Asian American, Native American, Pacific Islander serving institution, also known as AANAPISI, by the U.S. Department of Education, underscoring their unwavering commitment to fostering diversity and inclusion within the community. Oak, Oak, Oakton's 46,000 credit and non-credit students represent all ages, 55 nations, and a wide range of experience. The library thanks Oakton College for its co-sponsorship of tonight's event. So thank you very much, Oakton. I know they're the best. I wanted to kind of turn it over to our fantastic panelists. I've got a list of questions prepared, and we hopefully will have some time at the end. Tila and Alan and anyone else who might be here to ask those questions. But before we do, I would love for them to introduce themselves, say their name, their pronouns if they wish to share, the college that they attend presently, and why they picked that school. Now, you could also interpret that as like what they hoped to get out of attending. However you want to answer that question is fine. And if you're okay for me to kind of go across the top that I have you, we'll go Zara, Evelyn, and Chiku.
Okay, so my name is Zara. I have she, her pronouns. I go to DePaul University, and I picked DePaul more so for convenience because it's close to home and it has a good balance between like commuter students and students that live at the campus. And I'm a commuter student, as well as like financials. DePaul gives pretty good grants and scholarships. So if that's something that someone is like looking into, as well as like there's a pretty good computer science program as that's my major, and compared to like Loyola, for example, which was another option I considered, there's more computer science students at DePaul, so that's why I chose it.
I'm Evelyn, and I use she, her pronouns. I go to University of Illinois in Urbana-Champaign, and I chose this school because of partly the location. Like I wanted to be far enough away from home that like I wouldn't go home every day, but not like so far that I would have to fly. Like it would be inconvenient to go home when I wanted to. I wanted to go to a big school. I wanted to go to like a college town feel like um so it was kind of perfect for me in that way. The academics are really good, and I also liked like the social life options. So
Hello, my name is Chiku. I go by she, her, hers. I go to the University of Connecticut or UConn. I initially chose the school because I wanted to go out of state. I sort of wanted to experience the life of like independence and sort of like growing on my own. I also looked for a school that had really diverse demographics, and even though UConn is still a PWI, they do have like a lot of like I guess the word would be like marginalization, like groups and stuff for you to like experience different communities still without losing yourself. And I study computer science. I would say UConn can be a little expensive, but knowing how to like look for scholarships and stuff like that help to kind of alleviate the cost.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So a very diverse array of colleges. So as I go through these questions, feel free to answer them in whatever way you see fit. If someone else has already said something, that's totally okay. You can say it again. Don't worry about it. Just be as honest and true to yourself. So the first question that I have is, what is something that surprised you about the school that you picked or about the college experience in general? We're going to be speaking to a lot of freshmen, a lot, or pardon me, a lot of juniors and seniors. So they'll be wondering kind of on a personal level, what surprised you the most? I'm not going to call on people. If folks want to like just jump in, that's totally fine. I don't want to put anyone on the spot.
I can go first. I kind of prepared for this question. So for DePaul specifically, I kind of didn't expect it to be such a big liberal arts school. I know that's like something that's pretty like obvious when you research the college, but I kind of went based on like what I know about the people around me that go, and I kind of assumed that it was mostly like a business school, but like even in orientation and like as I kind of like explored more and got to know more people, it's very liberal arts. There's a huge film program. Some of the friends I've made from like Colorado and like really far come to DePaul specifically for film, which I was really surprised about. But I think it's a cool balance between like the majors and like this kind of what people specialize in. And also, um, and for college in general, it's like the freedom. I know that that's something that like people talk about, but even as like someone who commutes, like not even just freedom as in like independence from like home or your parents, but more so just like your classes and like how there's no one really there to like be telling you what to do, and because of that it's like easy to slack off and like not stay on top of things, and I think that's like kind of something that I had to deal with. So that's something that surprised me about college. It's like there's really no one to check me, and even like the way most professors are, there will definitely be strict professors, but in general like they don't really care. Like half the class I'm taking right now, it's not even like mandatory attendance, and like they're not very strict on their policy. So it's kind of just like how much you have to really check yourself is what surprised me.
I can go off. Oh, sorry. Um, I can go off of what Sarah said. I totally like relate to the independence part and like the fact that it's hard to like that you have to learn how to manage yourself and how to like figure out how to manage your own time, be organized, like make sure you're holding yourself accountable. Something that surprised me about going to Illinois in particular was like it's like a huge school, right? And there's like 9,000 people in my grade or whatever. But there's like a lot of ways to make it smaller. Like I, for instance, joined like in my dorm, there's like different living learning communities, and you can like mine was leadership and service, so you can join it, and then like all of the other people on the floor have like similar values to you, and like that's how I found like my friend group and some of my closest friends was because I like went to like the smaller community first. So I like would say even if you're like looking at you think that would need a smaller school, like keep your options open because there's like definitely a lot of ways to make big schools small. So that's probably one thing that surprised me.
I totally agree with Evelyn's point. UConn isn't as huge as Urbana, but it is like bigger than DePaul. And just finding ways to make the school feel a little bit more like personalized towards you is something that I kind of had to like sort of trial and error in the beginning of my first few weeks at college. I also was surprised by how rural UConn is. It's in Stores, Connecticut, so it's like close to Boston a little bit, and about I would say like a 3 hour drive from New York. And I live in like Skokie, so I wasn't used to like coming from like Chicagoland to like the middle of nowhere. And even though like initially I thought I wouldn't like it, like there truly are so many ways to make your college experience feel super fun. Even when you think there's nothing to do, like there's truly so much. Like personally, UConn is a huge basketball school, so things like school spirit is high, and you truly will find a way to like personalize your college experience?
I have one thing to say because of school size. Definitely DePaul, like I like obviously like when you go to a new school at first it feels like really huge and really massive. DePaul is pretty small. Like I feel like by the time like now my freshman year is almost over, I still unfortunately have a month left. Um because of quarter system, but like I feel like I kind of already see like the same faces everywhere. Like I'm pretty familiar with like I feel like majority of the freshman class. So if that's not really something you like, I would say keep that in mind.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so the next question that I have for y'all is what did you do to prepare for college? That's a big question, obviously. So I'm gonna narrow it down a little bit. Like, what is something that you wish you did to prepare or that you haven't done? So like, I guess that's kind of two questions. So like when it comes to preparing for college, without getting lost in the weeds, what is maybe something you like the best thing that you did to prepare for it? And then what is something that you did that you kind of, or that you didn't do that you wish you had done?
I
Okay,
oh,
oh,
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
You can go first.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I did a summer program called Bridge for my college like preparation, and it was 5 weeks. I apologize. But it was a 5 week summer program, and it basically had us doing classes like computer science, um, calculus, physics, chem, just sort of trying to help us like it was basically to bridge our like gap of understanding from the high school to college. And I would say that like that environment really helped me because one, I was an out-of-state student and I met so many different people from like different experiences and different backgrounds, and it kind of helped me like get more comfortable with UConn. And then also, one thing that I regret not doing more of in the summer was applying to scholarships because I feel like I had so much free time in the summer as opposed to like during the school year, and that's something I wish I prepared more with.
For me, I honestly don't feel like I did much to prepare, which definitely could have done more, like now that I've learned. I feel like early on in high school, I should have, well, obviously this doesn't really apply for seniors, but I feel like early on in high school, I should have like kind of already had an idea of where I wanted to go and just look at credits and whatnot, because I feel like I did take a lot of useless AP classes that I could have like saved time for. And also just like kind of seeing like for whatever college you're like thinking of, see how like the credits work and what transfers over. Just so you kind of like I guess like what I already said, like just so you don't waste time, like um 'cause for me, like I could have taken an Oakton class in place or just trying to minimize your time and just make your life easier. You know what I mean? Like I just regret taking like stuff like AP Calc, like it was kind of useless. And obviously it's hard to decide what your major is, but like kind of have an idea of that early on too, just because like um if you're kind of more prepared for it, like I never took a computer science class. I was kind of thrown into it. So definitely like have some sort of like background for that, just so you feel more prepared. And yeah, I guess that's basically it. For other preparations, DePaul has something called the Blue Demon domain when you're an admitted student. And that includes like a bunch of like book like things you have to bookmark, like online courses to like get familiar with the system and stuff. So that's kind of what I did to prepare. But I definitely do regret not looking into like what college actually is before and how classes work and whatnot. Um, so I think that's important. Like look at your APs and like online classes and like just kind of set yourself up for your major.
I think they both had really good ideas and said pretty much what I was gonna say. I really didn't know I was gonna go where I ended up going, and I went in undecided. So I was kind of in like the situation where like I couldn't have really prepared because I like had no idea, which obviously like most people have a little bit more of an idea. But like at least for like summer before college, like I feel like there's a lot of ways, like they mentioned a lot of ways academically to like get introduced to your college, but there's also like certain ways socially. Like I know for me, there's like an admitted student stay where I went and like talk to a bunch of like different like other freshmen, and I'm still really good friends with one of the girls that I met there. And then like for roommates, there's like Instagram accounts that are like the class of like for us it was like UIUC class of 2027, and like you can meet people on there, and like a lot of people find roommates that way, which is helpful. But yeah, I feel like those are like you also can like look into clubs at the school. I feel like that would have been helpful for me because there's like hundreds of clubs at U of I that I could have joined, and like it would have been good for me to like research in the summer when I had more time, like going into different clubs and like what I might be interested in. So then going into school, I would know like we have quad day, which is like the day that you go around and look at all of the clubs, and I would like know which clubs to try to find, what clubs I want to like put my email down. So yeah, I feel like that would have been helpful that I didn't do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Um, so the next question I feel like has been answered in a little bit like in like pitter patters. Definitely Zara. I feel like this could have been a good that answer could be a great answer to the question I'm about to ask now. But I'm gonna ask it anyway in case because there's always gonna be more to say, which is what's one thing you think everyone should know or think about before starting school, and what do you wish you'd know, right? So like I hear about the clubs. That's an amazing point. I think about like the credits that could transfer. That's also a really fantastic point. Um, what is like one other thing that you think everyone should know or think about before this starting their school?
I guess something, I mean, Chiku kind of said this a little bit, I think, or maybe it was Evelyn, I'm not actually sure. But definitely like how much like it's hard to discipline yourself, definitely. I think that before you start college, like you should kind of get into the habit of that. Um, Everyone should just kind of think about how they would manage in an environment where like there's literally no repercussions other than of course like failing, but I would say like kind of like getting organized like before you even start, like on a day-to-day basis, like even like small tasks, like put on a Google Calendar, for example, or like get a planner, like just like get in the habit of doing that and staying organized even before you start classes, because that's really important and it will like bite you in the back like later on if you don't.
I also feel like having like figuring out when you're gonna talk to your family and like how that dynamic is gonna work. Like for me, who like I didn't go home all that much. So like figuring out that, and like spending as much time as I could with my family before I had to like go for the year. So.
I would add on to that being prepared for like surprises or like the unknown, and I say this in like the sense of friendships. You should really be open-minded with friendships. Some friends that you meet on orientation, you may, never talk to them again or just like see each other and wave, and just being open to exploring and trying new things, even with like the clubs. Going back to that, I remember on like um I forgot what UConn's is called, but like Evelyn said, like their quad day, um, there were so many different types of clubs. Be comfortable with like your clubs not always aligning with your major. Like, yeah, it's good to have like one that aligns with the major, but another one can just be a personal interest, and be open to trying as many new things as possible. And your college may have like a plethora of clubs. Like, I remember there was like a skydiving club at UConn, which is like so random, but just being open to try new things.
Chiku, did you join the skydiving club?
No, I'm afraid of heights.
Okay, no, that would be a curse. That would be the worst nightmare. I'm sorry. I wish I
Yeah.
had a skydiving club in my college. We did not have that. How cruel. Okay,
Okay. Sorry, I have one more thing to
please.
say. So you guys were talking about like how it is when it comes to surprises for like living on campus. I would say As a commuter, and I know like so many commuters, they just like go to class and leave. There's not much like social aspect to that. So I feel like if someone is thinking about commuting, like don't be afraid to like get involved and put yourself out there. You definitely feel like some FOMO though. Like I joined a business fraternity and it just felt like I couldn't really go to everything because I commute, but it's definitely like an experience like I don't regret doing. So I think even if you commute, like you can definitely make the most of it and just like put yourself out there.
Absolutely. Definitely. Okay, so talk about a class that you loved or you hated. How did you pick it? And what will you do next year to choose good classes?
One class, I loved my psychology class like first semester. I took a social psychology class and it was just really interesting. And like the professor was like, he wasn't actually a professor, he was like a college or a grad student, but he was like, that made him like, I feel like more engaged than some professors I have. I'm going into psych, so that's why I took the class. But even for some of my other classes, like I'm minoring in disability studies. So some of my classes for that have been like also like really interesting and fun. And like that's why I like taking them. But for some of the classes I didn't like, one class I really didn't like was an online class. And I thought that because it was online, it was gonna be easy, but it was like a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. So I would say definitely like look into that. Like there's like ways on like Reddit and like rate my professors. And for our school specifically, there's like a like grade disparity thing where you can see like what grades people in each classes by each professor like get, which is super helpful, which I use to pick my classes for next semester. So yeah, I feel like definitely researching the professors and the classes before you choose. As like a freshman, it's harder to get the classes that you want because like a lot every other grade goes first. So I struggled with that a little bit this semester, like trying not to get 8 a.m. classes, but still get like the professors, like the good professors in the classes I wanted. So yeah, I feel like I would just like do a lot of research. Like that helped me for picking my classes for like the spring, like the semester that just finished, and then for next semester too.
There was one class that kind of resonates with Evelyn's point, the online class that I took. Because what you said was so real about online classes, thinking they're going to be easy and they're not. But the class was like called Feeling Well. It was something about like satisfaction and like how to mentally, feel well. And honestly, that class was ironically the worst thing for my mental health. Like, I say this jokingly, but like that class was so obnoxiously like time consuming, like for no reason. And thankfully it was graded on like satisfactory scale instead of like an A, B, C, D. But yeah, don't just fall into the trap of getting like online classes and thinking they're gonna be easy, even though it's like a 1 credit online course. Sometimes they really are. Like I've taken online classes that are like very, very easy. But make sure, like Evelyn said, like look at the rate my professor, check a lot of reviews before you start the class, talk to upperclassmen and see their opinions about the class. A class that I took that I also didn't like, but it had a different outcome was chemistry. And the reason was because when I was picking my classes, my advisor at the time, unfortunately, I was put in the honors of my school, and they're like, take honors chem. Like, it's gonna be so easy, or not so easy, but you're gonna have so much support, and it'll like help you fly through the class. It was not so easy. Like, it was the very, very opposite of easy. And I really struggled in the class. Unfortunately, I went to a lot of office hours, so do things like that, go to office hours. And even though I didn't do the greatest in the class, I passed the class, but I didn't do as well as I wanted to. The professor still wrote me a letter recommendation for something because I attended his office hours and I got to know him personally. So even if you hate a class, sometimes you may have like a good outcome and you might, still, have a good relationship with the professor. So
Okay, definitely. It's kind of funny that it's a universal experience, but I took a synchronous class, a Zoom class, and like, I definitely prefer async over synchronous. Like something about like having to be on a Zoom, and like for DePaul, our classes are an hour and a half, so like it was just like so like excruciating. Like I could not sit still for like an hour and a half. So definitely I would prioritize like in person or just fully online, like all up to yourself. And also, I kind of had like all my quarters have been really different. So right now in spring quarter, I have mostly like asynchronous or like you can like you don't have to go to class, but you just like watch the lecture. In the first quarter, it was like completely in person. So I kind of regretted the fully in person because it was just like exhausting. And like I had to wake up really early, like get stuck in traffic. So I think like balancing that, like kind of like a good schedule for you to be able to get your sleep and like also like be in person enough so you don't like I don't know, like for me, like being fully online, it literally felt like school was optional, or not fully online, but only having like one class in person. Um, so yeah, definitely like that aspect of it. And also like for in-person classes, I noticed that in college compared to high school, no one really talks. Like I really feel like no one is engaged in anything. So I guess like when it comes to like looking at class descriptions, like something that's engaging, because it's really easy to get bored in those classes. So that's something I would recommend. Um, I think that convenience is a really big thing also. Like definitely like having a bad professor will ruin everything, but for me, time convenience kind of like goes over that as well. Like if I don't get enough sleep, but it's like a perfect professor or whatever, like I just feel like it's just not, I don't know. I guess you just have to weigh your priorities when it comes to picking classes. Especially like Evelyn said, like as a freshman, like it's really hard to get your classes like right. 'Cause yeah, because like you don't have first pick. So I guess just like seeing what you value more when it comes to classes.
Awesome. I can definitely vouch. I went to grad school during the pandemic and all of my classes were online. And oh boy, they were very, very hard. But it definitely, it felt consistent and it felt like something I could get used to being, all online. I wouldn't have wanted to do uh, a class where half of them were there and the other half of us were on video. It would have felt weird. Um, okay. Talk about something non-academic that you love or hate about your school. So that could be clubs, the sports, the food, dorm life, parking, any of that stuff.
Okay, I can go first. Something I like about DePaul, even though in general, like you kind of have to make it good. Like if you just like do whatever, like you really won't like it. But something I really like is our two campuses. We have a Lincoln Park campus and one in the Loop. And Lincoln Park, you get that college feel. Like we have a quad. Like it's very nice and cute, especially like in the summer and when it's sunny. And then in the Loop, where it's like our business classes and like our computing digital media, I think that's all that's in the Loop. But definitely like you can take gen eds in the Loop also, but that's like smack dab like downtown. So you get like the city life, like you can literally go to like Michigan Avenue. It's like a 10-minute walk away. So um and that's pretty nice. Something I hate is definitely um I don't know, like I just feel like definitely it's better than UIC when it comes to like the student body and like the involvement and like how people are engaged and whatnot. But like it can just get pretty boring. We don't have football games, which sucks. We have a basketball team. They're pretty good, but no football games. That's something I hate. And then social life again, like you have to like really try. A lot of the people are from the area, so like how I made friends was just like already really knowing people and then like they know people, so that's kind of how you do it. But other than that, it's like it can be pretty tough. So you just kind of have to make do with what you have.
I feel like I was lucky because I had a really good freshman year socially. Like I had a lot of fun and it was like, I feel like at U of I in particular, like, I mean, it's like this at every school, like, because obviously it's a big school. So like there are people that are like really, really academic focused because like that are like STEM majors and like CS majors and like all of that, but they still like have a lot of time to have fun and like spend time with friends and like do other activities that aren't like related to their academics. And I feel like for me, my dorm life was like really great. I like everyone like obviously advises not to live with your like high school best friend, but I did it anyways, and it like worked out perfectly for me. And like we're still best friends, and like that was really great. And that also gave me a person like welcome week that I like felt comfortable with, that I could like talk to, and like it just made the whole experience a lot easier for me. And then like just the whole like dynamic of the school, and like going to like a college town school, and like that's in the middle of nowhere, and like there's nowhere really to go other than campus, like I thought was kind of fun. And like sports are fun, and like we're good at basketball until UConn beat us, but yeah. Like all of that was like really made my freshman year, and it like made it really good, and so I'm happy about that. I was sad it ended.
I would like to apologize on behalf of UConn, but we're sorry, not sorry. But I agree with everything these ladies have said. Definitely getting involved beyond like the academics, things like clubs, and then also another thing that I would say that I feel like people don't really talk about a lot is trying to get to know your community, like outside of like your college community as well. One thing I remember like my friends and I did in Connecticut, so like the main cities are like kind of Hartford and New Haven. And Hartford's about like 40 minutes away from Yukon, and New Haven's about like an hour or an hour and a half away. And we would like explore those places. Like with my friends and I, we would just like go to New Haven, shop there, kind of just see around. And honestly, with New Haven, it's like everything is like owned by Yale, so it's kind of hard to really get the authentic like New Haven experience if it's not owned by Yale. But I would say get to know the community because it just helps you to like sort of see another perspective outside of just like the college life, because we do get sucked in by like, everything being about college, 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 and we kind of forget that, the outside world exists.
Awesome, thank you. So what is something that you're looking forward to for next year?
I can go first. I feel like definitely like a fresh start. It's easy to get caught up in the same like circles and whatnot, like because you're already in the routine. Even though like for me, as a quarter system, it's like new classes every quarter. But I feel like because of that, like you kind of just like keep doing the same thing over and over again. So definitely like I want to like be able to like approach college with like a new like perspective or a different perspective next year, and have like that like summer break in between for me to be able to like start again. And definitely like just being a sophomore, I feel like as a freshman, like there's so much pressure on you for like everything, like oh like you have to find friends, you have to do this, and like getting used to everything about your school. But as a sophomore, I feel like it'll be like definitely like easier on that end, definitely harder academically, but I think like in general I'll be more comfortable and like I'll know like what to do and where to go and whatnot.
I definitely can't wait to sort of take it a little bit easier academically. I feel like freshman year I went overboard with the classes and the credits that I took, and it kind of like screwed me over because I was focusing a lot of my time and attention towards performing well in those classes instead of kind of learning about the college that I was at. So kind of doing things like next year, sort of like reducing the amount of classes I'm taking during the semester so I can sort of like just be more aware of what's happening around college, go to more events and stuff like that before, it academically starts to like accelerate my junior and senior year is something that I'm kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Also for classes, like I'm taking less gen eds, like t classes that you have to take, and more classes that like I'm interested in and are for my major. So I'm really excited to go and take those classes. I'm excited to be back with like my friends, and like be living on campus is just really fun and a fun experience. And but I love being home. I mean, I've only been home since Saturday, but like I'm happy to be home, but I'm also already excited to go back.
It is such an amazing position to be in. That's awesome. So, what haven't we talked about? Is there some part of the college experience that you think could be really useful for a high schooler to know about? Something, some piece of wisdom that you'd like to kind of put out there? Anything like that?
I would say that I know this sounds like pretty corny, but just like keep on pushing. In college, I feel like any like issue you have or problems, they feel a lot more real. And for me personally, I feel like they weigh on me more just because it's like college is so like it's viewed so highly and like it's like has such an impactful like it's just so impactful on people's lives, you know, like college is something you'll always remember. So because of that, like any roadblocks or anything like that, it definitely feels a lot worse. But I think that like that's something to keep in mind and also just like keep on pushing like even though like that's a fact that like college is like oh like college, you know? But like regardless like it's really not that important. Like it's something you're gonna forget and you just have to keep moving on. Like put yourself first always, I would say. And like definitely like we keep saying this, but like just like don't slack off.
I would say be okay with just making mistakes. College, like being a student is one of the few times in your life where you're allowed to make as many mistakes as possible, and people kind of just say it's okay because you're a student. And I'm gonna be kind of sad when it's over and I have to actually go into the adult world and I have to like kind of know my stuff. But be okay with like just learning, making mistakes and learning from those mistakes. And then it kind okay, I had an idea, but I lost it, so I might come back to it later, but
Just going off on what both of them said, like it's like that your first time actually being in like the adult world, which is really scary, which like what Sarah said, like it makes your like mistakes feel bigger and like it also like for me because I was away from my family for the first time ever, it made like it felt more like isolated. Like like being like when you make mistakes, it's not you don't have the same people that you always have had to lean on. Um, but also like you have to allow yourself to make mistakes because it's still you're not in like the real world yet. Like you still have like it's like the weird like middle ground. But it like went by really fast for me. So I would also just say like freshman year was the fastest like time has ever moved. So like definitely like savor every moment and even when it's like hard times, like it'll get past that and like you're gonna go through like multiple phases and like it'll work out in the end. So yeah.
I just remember what I was gonna say. I totally agree with Evelyn's point. Also, a lot of times this is not like really like advertised, but a lot of times like your school will have conferences and stuff like that, or there'll be conferences and things like that, and your school can't sponsor you, so like you're already paying tuition, so take advantage of literally every single like event that can help like advance your career opportunities, your career or advance your like understanding as a learner, and just take advantage of it. Like last year, I think in October, I went like to the Grace Hopper conference, and it was like about computer science student or female computer science students and like non-binary computer science students sort of like learning about the opportunities that are in the field of technology, and I went for free. So just take advantage of all those little like career opportunity things since you're technically paying for it.
Those are fantastic. I love all of them. The networking, the savoring, the allowing yourself to make mistakes. I am an adult. I still make mistakes all the time. It's yeah, all of that is really fantastic advice. Thank you so much. We have 10 minutes, which you can get back in your evenings and have, have an early night, or If Tila, you've got any questions, absolutely no pressure, of course, but if you do, please feel free to jump on the mic or in the chat and ask them.
Hey, okay, thank you. Um, Congratulations to you three ladies. You all look and sound magnificent. You make me so proud. I attended Northern Illinois University. It's been a while ago. And I remember many of the feelings that you guys have had, especially like choosing the right course and feeling regret. But I have two questions. One for Chiku. The course that you just described, was that a course or was that a certificate?
Which one? Like my computer science course?
Was something that you did in addition that you didn't have to pay the cost for it or something?
Oh, yes. It was a conference. And yeah. It was like a conference in Florida. So like my school like paid for like the tickets and everything. And yeah, the conference, they covered the cost.
And it was related to your presumed major?
Yes, it was. So like a lot of companies came to it, like Apple, Google, like even like Disney and Roblox were there like randomly, but yeah, so it's an amazing way to network, and your school usually, if you can like talk to the right people, like a lot of times you'll find a lot of amazing opportunities.
Okay, that's super. Yeah, that's very, very important
Oh,
to do.
sorry. Oh, yes. Sorry, I
Especially,
didn't get that part.
well, it's okay. Especially if you can find out the industries that you're used to, I mean, that you want to study, and then look up those industries. And so I'm really glad to hear you done that early. And then the other thing I wanted to say is I was very disappointed when UConn beat Illinois too, because the first game, Illinois looked like it was a done deal. And then when UConn came, they looked like completely different teams. What
Yeah,
a heartbreaker.
it was. I mean, at least the Midwest kind of made it back up when Iowa beat UConn, so
Well,
I
that's a
guess
nice.
win.
Oh, and then my last question is, if you were a sophomore in high school and you've had your first or second college tour, what would you tell yourself looking back? Sophomore year, that's a way to think back now. You're not a freshman in high school, but you're still not getting any props yet.
That's a really interesting question because like our sophomore year, I believe like all of us are freshmen, right? We were it was during the pandemic, so we had it online. So it's like yeah, if it was in person though, I would probably say like start thinking about like which community does it look like I fit in, and like where does it look like you don't have to know like exactly, but where does it look like you would just like personally enjoy, like if you step outside you would like being around like this school. I would say something like that.
Definitely. Oh, go ahead, Evelyn.
No, you can go, Zara. Sorry.
Okay. Well, for me, I guess like I always knew I was gonna like stay at home. So like for me, I really was considering Loyola and DePaul, and I picked Loyola literally because of the campus, and I think that I just didn't consider like other factors as much. So like when like you said like if you toured like your first colleges and stuff, I do think it's important to like especially if you're like moving out, like it definitely is something that you should be like looking for, like, oh, I really like the campus. But kind of like what Chiku said, like picturing yourself at the college. And like I first picked Loyola because I was like, oh my God, like this campus is so pretty. And then I ended up having to transfer to DePaul for like other reasons. And then like now that I look back at it, I'm like, you know what, I'm honestly really glad I didn't go to Loyola. Like even though the campus is beautiful, I really like wouldn't be able to see myself like in that like in the Loyola community compared to the DePaul community.
Yeah, I feel like there's like I feel like a lot of people like their ideal school is like different. At least when you go to like for me going to like the state school that like everyone goes to, like I originally was like, oh, I don't like I like ruled U of I out, like just because I think I was assuming it was one way and like assuming like oh I'll like walk down and I'll see like 10 people from Niles West like every which way, which is true, like I do see people like all the time, but I feel like when you think about what school you want to go to, I feel like first it's important to say like, okay, like do you want to like commute? Do you want to like go like Midwest kind of school, like close where you still can like drive, or like actually go far away? And I feel like that obviously narrows down your options a lot. And I feel like that's something that you have to figure out more early on, like around sophomore year. And then just like thinking about like how they talked about how where you can picture yourself and like look into ways that you can like build a community there for yourself, and like even if like the vibes of the school or whatever like seem cool, like is that really like you? And then also like thinking about like what school is most realistic for you like money wise, and like not to necessarily get your hopes super high up for a school that like isn't realistic, like is too expensive. And yeah.
Y'all are great.
They are great. And just this is a wonderful way to kind of swing it back around when it comes to scholarships, because we're talking about financial stuff. And I know that one of y'all said that, something that you would have done more is apply for scholarships during the summer when you had the time and stuff. So if I could just throw out the question myself and have you guys answer it, when should folks start looking at financial aid and scholarships? Like, in term, not even just applying for them, but like researching and things like that. Like, if you could go back in time, when would you have started thinking about that sort of thing?
Okay, for me, applied to maybe like 20, and I don't think I actually didn't get a single one, like outside of like school scholarships. So I would say start as early as possible, because like and apply to as many as you can. It definitely does like start to weigh on you. Like I started applying to scholarships like right around like college application season, and that was definitely like a bad idea. So definitely like start early, because you will like get a lot of them denied, and like at least like in my case that was what happened.
Yeah, I feel like it's important to start like don't put it all on yourself. I did kind of the same thing as Zara. Like I did a lot of it during when like college apps were due, which was like a lot at one time. So I feel like summer before then is helpful. I don't really know when like you can, like the earliest you can do it. Um sorry, but definitely look into like specific college. Like I know scholarships are easier to get when it's like specifically for like there's a million like District 219 like scholarships that you can get, which are still like you're still not gonna get like most of the ones you apply to, but like just applying to as many as possible, even if you don't think you'll get it. Maybe you're like one of three people applying. So yeah, and like focus less on the like big scholarships that are like nationwide that like are really hard to get to, because that are like those are like less realistic than like in $1,000 scholarship like from Skokie or something.
Yeah, I have to echo like everything these ladies are saying. Exactly right. I would just add on to that, like start ASAP. I remember like I was a huge like scholarship fiend. I like I kind of started like learning about scholarships freshman year of high school, and I didn't really win any until senior year, so it took a long, long time before I saw like any results. But even just because like I didn't see results soon, getting in the practice of applying and learning how to like better myself as a writer, like that sort of helped me. And then I also learned about different scholarship methods. Like one method I really that really worked for me was applying and also like having a support team around me. So like I would tell my mom about the scholarships I'm applying to, so that, she would encourage me, and then she would also need to add her own like financial information, because some scholarships are specific to like certain like demographics, like you have to make this income or like this income. And, just having her support sort of like reinforced me to like finish that application if I lost steam or something like that. And I would also tell like teachers about it so that they can like proofread the scholarship that I'm applying to, and also like just for recommendation letters and stuff like that. Just building those relationships was helpful. Um, I would say like my the biggest scholarship that I got, like, um that was really like a last minute thing and I almost gave up on it. So I would say like don't give up. Like you think it was a nationwide scholarship. Sometimes you think you won't get it, but just toss your name in the hat. Like you truly never know what happens. And sometimes it won't be you, but sometimes it will, and you won't really know until you like apply. Oh, I would also say some scholarships aren't like called scholarships. Sometimes they go under like other names, like a contest or something like that. So just because it has other names, like don't, stray away from like they're really scholarships, but it just falls under like another name.
And it will say in the descriptions, right? Like this is, you can apply for this if you are this age or over, or this grade or over. So, there's ways for you not to waste your time applying for things that you wouldn't be eligible for anyway, right?
Yes, always look at the eligibility. Also, another thing, you should never, ever, ever, like, ever, this is a huge red flag, never pay to apply. You should never. A scholarship is completely free. They will never ask you to, like, add any money. So, yeah, be careful with scams.
Ah, yes, that is so important. Thank you so much for that. Um, okay, Alan, do you have any questions? All good?
How can we make our,
Oh, Alan, I think we might have missed that, but can you say it again with your mic on?
I think he's typing it in the chat.
Oh, perfect. The chat is perfect. Okay, this is an awesome question. I'm going to read aloud that Alan typed. How can we make our community more fun?
I mean, we kind of already said it, but definitely get involved. And also, I think Chico already said this, but like an open mind is definitely like, um, very important. And also like not lower your expectations, but kind of like if you have any sort of expectations, like get rid of them. Like just like go into everything, just like expecting nothing, and I think you'll have a great time, like regardless of like, because if you're looking for something specific and you don't find it, there will be disappointment. So I think it's just like feeling open to whatever, and I think you can have a great time that way.
I just feel like it's important to like know that you can have fun in any school, like you can make it your own and you can make it like special to you and fun for you, like no matter where you go. And just putting yourself out there and not being afraid of like I mean it's college is different than high school, so like just like being different and like not being afraid of that.
Also, just to add to everyone's points, like volunteering too is like a great way to like have fun because, a lot of times we're told to do things, and so like doing things just because you want to do them and you're willingly giving up your own time is another thing that has made my college experience fun.
Awesome. 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 Okay. So, in the chat or aloud, does anyone have any more questions before we finish up today? Tila, is Alan typing in the
It
chat?
appears that he is. This must be a generational thing. I just
Awesome. Thank you, Alan. Thank you for that awesome question.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but I'm in a study room and the time just went up and someone is knocking on the door to get
You're
in.
absolutely
So I have
great.
to go.
This is exactly the time to say goodbye, Evelyn. If you need to
Thank
bounce
you.
immediately, do it. For everyone else, just to let you know, thank you. I have recorded this, so if Tila and Alan, you will have access to that. I also saw Tila making some voracious notes. And Zara and Chiku, if you would
Anytime.
not mind. Thank you so much, Alan. Zara and Chiku, if you wouldn't mind just waiting just 10 seconds after the rest of the folks leave, just so I can double check that everything is in order for you guys going forward, okay? Thank you. Okay, bye, Tila. Bye, Alan. Hold on. Boop, boop. Oh, no, don't report. Okay, great. Let me just stop the recording.